One of the most common questions I get is, what's the interest rate on the all-in-one loan? And that's an important question because the interest rate absolutely matters. But regardless of the type of mortgage, the interest rate is only one part of the equation. The total amount of interest you pay is determined by three things: your interest rate, your loan balance, and the amount of time you carry that debt. The all-in-one loan was designed to help you manage two of those three variables every single day. With that in mind, let's look at how the interest rate itself is determined. Your interest rate is made up of two parts: a fixed margin, which you select when your loan is originated, and the SOFR index, or the Secure Overnight Financing Rate Index, which updates at the beginning of each month. Your margin never changes. The only part that changes is the index. At the beginning of each month, the new index is combined with your fixed margin to determine your interest rate for that month. Once it's set, your rate stays the same for the entire month. It's a transparent, structured process that gives you a predictable interest rate, not something that's changing every day behind the scenes. Now, knowing how your interest rate is determined is only half the story. The next question is just as important: how is that interest actually calculated? This is where the all-in-one loan really begins to separate itself from a traditional mortgage. Traditionally, your checking account and your mortgage exist in two completely separate places. Your deposits sit in your checking account until you spend them and make your next mortgage payment. Meanwhile, your mortgage continues on its normal amortization schedule, completely separate. Until you make that mortgage payment, the money sitting in your checking account isn't reducing the balance that's being charged interest. The all-in-one loan changes that. Every deposit, whether it's your paycheck, rental income, or any other money flowing into the account, immediately reduces the balance being charged interest. At the end of that same day, your interest is recalculated based on your new, lower balance. The next day, the process starts all over again. That means every day your balance is lower is another day less interest is charged. Throughout the month, interest is calculated each day based on that day's ending balance. At the end of the month, those daily interest charges are added together to determine your total interest charge for the month. The payment isn't due until the 21st of the following month, which means the funds in your account continue reducing the balance that's being charged interest until that payment is due. Now, let's put everything we've talked about into a real-world example. This comparison uses the same borrower, the same income, the same home, and the same $520,000 loan amount. They're not earning more money or changing their spending habits. The difference is simply how their existing cash flow is working. On the left is the all-in-one loan. On the right is a traditional 30-year fixed mortgage at a 6.25% interest rate. For this comparison, the all-in-one loan begins with a higher interest rate than the traditional mortgage. Remember though, we've already established that the interest rate is only one part of the equation. Let's take a look at the overall results. Because the all-in-one loan helps reduce the balance the interest is calculated on every day, projected payoff is approximately 8.4 years instead of 30 years. The projected interest paid is approximately $167,000 compared to more than $632,000 with the traditional mortgage. That's a projected savings of more than $465,000 in this example. Here's what the comparison shows. The interest rate matters, but it isn't the only thing that matters. When you consistently reduce the balance that's being charged interest and shorten the amount of time you carry that debt, the overall cost of borrowing can look dramatically different. Now think about what that means. Instead of your money sitting on the sidelines, it's immediately working to reduce the balance that's being charged interest. And that's why I always tell people, the goal isn't simply to get the lowest interest rate. The goal is to pay the fewest dollars in interest possible. Because while the interest rate absolutely matters, the loan balance and the amount of time you carry that debt matter just as much. That's what makes the all-in-one loan different. It gives you the opportunity to manage two of those three variables, balance and time, every single day. And once you understand that, it's hard to look at a mortgage the same way again. If you'd like to learn more about how the all-in-one loan works, check out my 15-minute YouTube video linked below. I walk through the entire strategy from start to finish. And if you'd like to see how it compares to your current mortgage, I'd be happy to run a personalized simulation using your numbers.